Hello, and welcome to Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to do an after-action report of part of our Virginia invaded campaign using Redcoats and Tomahawks. So let's get started. Welcome to this, the first battle or scenario in our Virginia invaded campaign. I mentioned earlier in the introduction that Benedict Arnold had come into the Chesapeake Bay with the intention of building a permanent deepwater port at Portsmouth, and also the possibility of disrupting the supply line from Virginia, the breadbasket of North America, to the South Carolina, North Carolina, and General Greene's command. On the 31st, Arnold orders Captain William Hawthorne of the 80th Regiment to take command of about 300 men of the 80th Regiment, also a detachment of the Queen's Rangers, and a detachment of sailors commanded by Lieutenant Bartholomew James of the Royal Navy. They land at Newport News. They are going to cross overland into the area, the fishing town that is Hampton. Hampton is on the Hampton River. I was asked earlier if I could show some photographs of the areas that we're discussing in this video, and I'll do what I can, but a number of the areas have been highly changed since the situation. But I do have a photograph here of the mouth of the Elizabeth River as it looks today. These men make their way in the darkness of night overland, and their intention is guided by some loyalist supporters that are with them to go to the homes of various pilots, which they're dragging out of their houses and they're going to use to help navigate up the James River. They end up having to defend themselves in Hampton against some militia that night and spending an uneasy night there in Hampton. Let's go to the first scenario of our Virginia invaded campaign, attack at Hampton. This is our little portion of Hampton. The British have arrived earlier. They've pulled some pilots out of their houses, and now they're trying to hold the town for the evening before they go home in the morning. And the militia have finally started to gather and arrive. There's 3 levels of militia and some local sailors for the Americans on the far side there. Over here we have the 80th afoot. These are regulars, a small contingent or detachment of sailors and their officer. This is the commanding officer here of the Brits. And then over here are Queen's Rangers, who are irregular skirmishers. So the game is going to begin by us taking 3 cards each. So this is a fight at twilight. Basic line of sight is down to 24 inches. And of course, other things are going to make that even worse. And we begin the game with me choosing a card. So I'm going to play Forward Boys.
Your faction's Forward Boys gives you the choice of 2 options when it is played. The choice of which options is up to you. The card grants an action to all the officers in the faction it is associated with, as well as all the units from their force with the elite trait. Also, each officer can allow a friendly unit within 6 inches of him to perform an action. Or you can gain command points. If you decide to gain command points, none of your officers and none of your units are granted action. Instead, add 1 command point to your pool, plus 1 extra command point for each of your officers currently on the gaming table.
I'm going to do the activating within
6 inches.
So yeah, I'm going to activate him, and he's going to use his to activate that unit within 6 inches of him. They're going to shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be 9 dice.
Who is he shooting at?
Yeah, I think I have to shoot the sailors because I've got less people. Some of that unit's not in the vision. I don't think of any of my guys. So I think I have to shoot at the sailors, which may be the better target anyway. You're in the open, so the other stuff, and you're not scouts or anything, and there's no smoke yet. So I'm shooting, this is not a hasty shot. I'm shooting over 12 inches, so it's a -2. No obstacles being crossed, no cover. Shoot is 7, so I basically need 9s. And remember that 10s are not 10s, they are 0s. Wow, nothing. So that causes smoke, and we'll have to check the chart. Smoke either makes me easier to see or harder to see. I don't remember which, but it's a modifier to your spotting.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And it's there until their next activation. The fire, they have to take an action to get rid of the fire, but the smoke just goes away. I've got 2 other officers in there. We're in the woods. Now, I'm going to move. So I need to find out what my modifier is for moving.
-1. Very rough ground, -2.
Okay, that's the officer, so he can't move because he's doing this other thing instead. And these guys can do the same thing this way. Some more trees, I think. All right, that's me done.
So I'm going to play my regular units. So my regular units are my 80th, a
Right.
foot, and my officer. Normally I would move, was it 4?
4 inches.
And then it's 3 because of darkness.
You're in column.
Mhm.
So you should have a +4 if your whole move is on the road. Twilight. Each figure's movement is distance is reduced by -1. Shooting at long or extreme range is an affected -1. An additional -1. And spotting suffers a -2. Column modifier. So that's, yeah, there's a -1 movement.
So that would have my officer moving 3 then. Too bad, I really wanted him to get behind. I wanted 4. All right, well, he's gonna go here, unfortunately. I really wanted him behind there, but that's okay. Column is going to, so I think I'm going to be able to get them all there, since they could go 8, theoretically. That should give them room for everyone. Now, they can shoot in volleys so that the guys behind can shoot too. That was what you meant, right?
No.
Can I not shoot like this?
Guys who have somebody over an inch in front of them cannot shoot.
Oh, so they need to spread out. They're going to go back where they were. And they're just going to move more carefully on the grass.
I'm going to play a command to hold that card back.
Okay. I'm going to play my other card for regulars. And I am going to shoot at you.
All right.
So let's figure out how many of them are shooting. I am a 6+ to begin with. A unit formed in line and equipped with muskets, rifled muskets, or rifles can deliver volley fire.
We have to check spotting rules first. You may not be able to see us.
Because of the smoke. Volley fire affects all figures within the corridor in front of the unit who are within 16 inches of the firing unit. I don't think I'm within 16.
But the maximum is 16.
Right, so this
So-
doesn't do it.
So, yeah, we're out of it.
All right, but can I shoot just regularly? A
Not
24
volley?
inch? Not
Well,
volley.
first we have to check and see if you can spot us.
Right.
There's a modifier for smoke.
+3 columns.
+3?
Yes.
All right. So smoke makes me easier to see, not harder. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense at night, but it makes sense
No.
during the day
Okay.
because the smoke is giving away your position.
Okay.
So you can definitely shoot us because we were at 24.
Right.
And 3 columns means we're off the chart. So you can shoot, fire on them. So put the smoke on them. So you roll a die for each of the guys that's shooting.
7.
All right. And you want to,
4, 5.
what modifiers do we have? There's a -2 for darkness, is that what we said?
think.
No, it's a -1 for darkness.
Okay.
-2 is for over 12 inches.
Okay.
So it's -3.
And it is nothing.
All right, so they fired, that's all your regulars. Your officer's a regular too.
But he can't shoot.
So, no, but he could do something. If you wanted him to, you could move him or,
I don't want him.
all right.
I don't want him.
So then it's,
Oh, I can move him? I'm going to move him an inch more behind the building.
there you go. It's irregulars.
They had an extra movement, but then they lost it for darkness, so they can move 4 instead of 3, as I understand.
Yeah. And if they end up at an inch apart from each other, they will be in extended order.
And I'm absolutely in agreement on that. Is that an inch apart? Oh, I can move the sailors too, though, can't I?
Irregulars, yeah.
I kind of feel like because they only have pistols and hand-to-hand, they should kind of stay in the town and be the last defense. I'm going to get them off the road. Preserve them. Okay, it's my regulars again. They're reloading.
They're going to reload.
They're going to reload.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the smoke goes away and the fire marker goes away.
Okay.
Because you reload it.
That's what
The
I did.
smoke goes away because you activated them.
Okay.
The reload goes away because you activated them to reload. Now, I pull a card, you pull a card.
They'll probably get no other
And if you
cards.
have a clock, mention it.
Okay. 3 inches of view this way. Now let me make sure he's still within 8. Yes, he is. And then this guy's
Because
going
like
to
on
go
that
here.
forward on boys, they have to be within 6 inches of you.
All right, he's 8.
And the only people he can command are the sailors.
He's 8. Okay, that's my turn.
All right, I'm going to play my provincial card, and that just lets me move my leader dudes.
Ah. I'm going to play this, morale.
You get a gold disc, though.
Okay.
If I had lost over half of my guys, I could have to roll for every one of my units would have to do a morale check. Otherwise, the player who played the card chooses a unit containing 3 figures or less from the card's associated faction which has suffered at least 1 casualty. So at this point of the game,
Nothing.
it doesn't do anything for you, but
Right.
it does give you a gold, because it was my card,
Right.
it gives you a gold. And so I'm going to retaliate by playing your irregulars.
So can any of these guys shoot? So I'm going to shoot, I guess that's 5 then.
So put
Yeah.
a fire
Yep,
tokeny
indeed.
and a...
I've got it. Smoke. So that's 5. 5s. So that is going to bring him to 8s, right?
Shooting at long range, over 12 inches. It's over 12, isn't it?
Yes.
You're getting close. That's what the -2 for.
Okay.
It's for the range.
Okay. So it's 3 down, but I'm a 5 instead of a 6, so it's 8 instead of 9. So 8 and over. Come on, you got to get somebody. Nothing. What do I need to shoot?
You mean to activate a unit a second time?
Yeah. Well, or a
It
first
depends on
time.
how many are in the unit. If you're
People?
trying to order, it depends on how many people are in the unit. It's either 2, 3, or 4.
8 people.
8 people, that's 3.
Does that activate my officer too, or just them?
No, it's them. Fire and you shoot. We're still not at 16, so you can't do the volley thing.
9. 2.
Now you have to roll those again, and you need to beat a 6.
6 and over. 6 and over. 6 and over. 6. 1.
1 hit. Because there's a casualty, I do have to roll a morale roll.
Really? Just for 1?
It takes either 3
Okay.
hits
Okay.
or 1 casualty. The unit is not an officer. The unit is comprised of over 10 figures. No, I think it was 10. I'm assuming that means what you have left, not what you started with. So that's a +1. I'm not formed up. I can't be. I'm not 3 figures or less. It is not following a morale card resolution. There's a -3 on those. This is shooting. We're not natives. We are not in cover. It wasn't volley fire. We didn't take 3 casualties. So I have a +1. So I roll a d10 and I add 1. 3. That's probably not good. We are... What are we, conscripts? We are conscripts. That's not good either. Flight. They are probably off the table. That's the problem with not having moved. So while we were off camera, we pulled our new cards, and we did get a green clock and a red clock, which I need to mention because, of course, on a 3rd clock the turn ends, and we went from not being anywhere near there to being exactly there. And it is my turn, which is why I pulled cards. So I'm going to play my militias. And what am I going to do? Life is bad. I'm going to move these guys first. These are the guys that are never getting out of the woods. I think I want to shoot with the other guys because, well, I can't shoot with most of them anyway because of the hay bale. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shoot with those 6. Shooting is 7, but they're going to be, they're still at a -2 for distance and a -1 for darkness. So
they can't make it.
So they can't. Yeah, well, 9s are always successes. And I got 1. All right, so I need a 6 or higher to do damage, and I got a 0. I only hit once and no casualties, so that's not even a reaction roll.
It's your turn.
Militia?
Regulars.
It's my sailor dudes. I'm gonna go into the woods. All right. Now it's my turn.
Okay.
So that's my sailors again. I mean, I wouldn't have necessarily gone in here. All right, your turn. So now you take your card.
All right, so I'm gonna, my irregulars, and I guess all I can do really is reload.
All right. And the smoke goes away.
Okay.
My irregulars. Your turn.
Doesn't matter, it's not mine. Forward, boys, for you.
I'm going to move this officer for 3. Try to get him up into dealing with peoples. Order my 2 militia units because they're both within 6 of my other guys. So this group's going to reload. The other one's going to move. And they're almost out of the woods. All right, and now it's my turn, but I'm out of cards, so I get to pull again.
Please, God, let it be a clock.
It's gonna have to be. There's only 3 cards here. That's the first turn done. So I pull card.
Oh,
Is it a
clock.
What color?
Red.
Oh, that's an event. Random events.
Okay.
All right, you need to roll 2 dice, one after the other.
3,
3.
8.
Events start to take a new turn. Except for the red clock card just drawn, shuffle the discard pile into the deck. Well, we don't even have a discard pile.
Okay.
So that was kind of ineffectual. But that also means we're now at 2 red cards. Your victory condition is on 3 and 4. So pull another card to make up for the clock. Green clock.
Oh boy.
It's going to be a short turn.
Hello. I guess all they can do is reload. My officer gets to move too.
I'm going to play my irregulars. Those are my sailor boys. My officers are irregulars. So I'm going to move that one. And I'm going to move this one. Because I just remembered my intrigue. All right, your turn.
So I'm gonna pay. I don't have a card. It's 5.
Move them all.
No,
Unless
and
you
I
have
think
5.
their shoot was 6, and it added 3, so I have to get 9s. Come on. Yes, that's a 9.
All right, so you want to roll that, and you want to be 6 or higher.
Okay, come on, come on, come on. Nope.
All right, so you got to mark them as shot and fired. And I'm going to play a card. I'm going to play forward, boys. I'm going to move this guy another 2 inches into the woods where he's safe. I'm going to use the others to activate units within 6 inches of them. Do I shoot? I think I want to shoot. No, I'm going to keep going forward a little bit first. All right, so they're going to shoot the original 6 guys that shot last time. They still need 9s to what should have been 10s. I hate that roll. All right, your go.
No, here we go. Provincials.
That's my
Dead.
officer.
Dead. Oh, it's your officer. Okay,
Yeah,
here he is.
I'm going to leave him where he's at.
But I get a coin.
You do. And while you're in there, grab me one, because I'm going to play morale on you, and you don't really have a morale issue. So all that happens is I get a coin.
My turn again?
Yeah, if you still got a card.
Yeah, but it's yours.
Militia. They're going to reload. They're going to shoot.
So they're a regular and they're militia?
There's 2 units of militia there. I'm going to shoot at your rangers. They get a modifier. but I have 5 that can shoot without the -2. I have 1 that has a -2. You are extended order though.
Yes.
So that, I'm at 8. Because I have -2 total. I have darkness is -1, open order is -1.
Yeah.
So I need 8s. That's a little better than what we've been at, and that's 2 hits. I'm at 4s. It is 6s, but the ranges change it. But that's still only 1 hit. You take a casualty, and you have to do a morale, or a reaction roll as they call them. So you don't have 6. You're not formed up. You're not an officer. You haven't lost 3, or not less than 3. Applies after shooting. You're not natives. You're still not in cover. It's not volley fire. You don't have 3 casualties. Okay, so there's no modifiers. And what are your skirmishers? All right, so go ahead and roll.
6.
Recoil. This is the first time we've had a recoil.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you fall back 4 inches, but that's it. Actually, it's 5 inches for you.
Oh, okay, my normal movement.
And you're out of cards.
Oh,
too.
and I'm out cards.
So pull a card. All right, I'm going to play militia. This unit's going to reload. This unit's going to shoot. Oh no, neither of them are going to shoot. That one's going to reload, and the other one's going to move. And that's their officer, so he has to wait. All right, that's me done.
I have an irregulars, who would be my rangers. Okay, I'm under 24. Okay, 4 of them, and it's back to the long distance. -3, but I start at a 5, 8. Come on. Nothing.
So they shot, so they need to be marked.
Yep.
But you're probably just going to reload them when I play this card.
Is that the irregulars?
That's your irregulars.
Okay, then I'm going to reload.
So I get a coin.
Who's the provincials for you?
That's my officer hiding in the corner.
Oh, good. Here's your officer hiding in the corner.
So you get a coin for that, but he's not doing anything.
Right.
I'm going to pay 3 to activate that militia unit out of order instead of playing the card I have. It's your turn.
I can't do anything with only 2 points. Wait. Yes, I can with 7 figures or less. So I could shoot again. So it's same 4 guys. They're going to shoot again. And nothing.
I'm going to use my last command points, and I'm going to command my other militia unit. All right.
My turn, your turn.
What is it?
Irregulars.
Those are my officers. They're going to try to catch up to their units that are getting away from them because they haven't been activating. Oh, it's also these guys. And they're moving along at 2. It's my turn, and I have to play the card I've been avoiding because I don't need. So it's your regulars.
Thank God. Well, all I can do is reload. Well, I guess I could. I'm going to reload. I think that's the best. But I'm also going to do something with my officer again. I need a dice. Yes.
So now you take a card, and I take a card, and you take a card, and I take a card.
And that's it.
Turns over. We've had 2 red clocks still.
All right.
And now the red clock's back in there again, which is bad. Because you could start getting points when that red card comes up. So I don't know how many points you get. But there's only 1 building that I'm even contesting right now. We'll pull a card, I guess. One of us has to.
Green clock. So I take another card, right?
Right, green clock.
So we each take another card. Oh my God, red clock.
And the turn's over. Your victory conditions.
I certainly haven't come close to achieving my intrigue, so...
Victory conditions. Check if your mission has been completed. When the 3rd and 4th red clocks are drawn, it is considered to be completed if all the buildings in the hamlet are under guard. To be under guard, a building in the hamlet must have at least 6 of your figures and no enemy figures inside it, or have no enemy figures within 6 inches, even if you are not occupying it. So I would argue you do not have your victory conditions because it does say all of them.
Right.
Right now, you do not have all buildings just because of this unit. Now me, I have capture. You win the game immediately if you are occupying the majority of the hamlet's building. I don't occupy any. I only need 1 figure, but you have to be not within 4 inches. And I don't have that with any building. So these we reshuffle again. We've got to pull new cards.
Oh no.
But
That's the end.
so that's a red card that just got pulled. This is the 4th red card
Red clock.
Red clock. So that means the game is over. Now, none of us achieved our goals. Our main objectives, which were, for the case of the Americans, they had to get close to the buildings and hold the majority of the buildings. They don't actually have any building uncontested, so they've completely failed at that. The British have to hold all of the buildings, and by hold, they either have to have 6 people inside the buildings, or they have to have us no more than 6 inches from all the, or more than 6 inches from all the buildings. We just barely stopped them from doing that because there's a unit just here of militia that are 6 inches from this building. So they only didn't win because of that unit. Because it says to do that on the 3rd red card and the 4th red card, the game is ending at that point. That's what I'm assuming. Because it doesn't say like every red card after that or something. So I think the game just ended. Still, even if we hadn't been in the 6 inches, we did pick intrigues. I don't think we talked about that on the video, but we did pick intrigues. And to win when you've picked intrigues, you have to have achieved the intrigue. I achieved mine, but Carrie failed at hers. Carrie's was a lot harder than mine. Her officer over here was writing his memoirs.
Indeed.
So she's had to roll dice and add to the number to get to a certain amount. If we had remembered that all along, she may have actually made it. I don't know. Did you re-roll?
If we had done it at the very beginning, I might have gotten 1 or 2 more rolls.
Do you know how many activations he had that he didn't? What are you at right now?
Here's my number. I've been writing it down.
It doesn't really matter, I guess, because you didn't meet your
I had
objective
14.
anyway. 14, you needed 30, right?
I needed 30.
So roll 2 dice, and let's just assume it was the 2.
No.
No, so
Now it won't make it.
Can't make it now.
Nope.
Yeah. Now, my intrigue was just that my officer had to survive. He's an old guy, and he just has to survive to the end of the war. He gets negatives to anything he does. And by coincidence, he did survive till the end. But I didn't win because that doesn't matter when I didn't meet my goal. Right. So I would argue this is basically a stalemate. That's basically what happened historically, really. I mean, historically, the Brits are going to stay here in the town of Hampton. They do manage to protect themselves from what little militia response there was, but it's still not an easy night. And then in the morning, they're going to have to make their way back to their vessels. And I think there's a fight in the morning, too. I will check that before we go on. But there's another scenario between here and then anyway. So that brings an end to this battle with a inconclusive ending. Well, that played pretty much the way I imagine events may have actually gone. The militia that had been called, they're suffering from a lack of weapons. They're suffering from a lack of ammunition. It's just the initial areas that are responding to that original surprise of the arrival of this fleet. There was a lot of disorganization, and the British held the town pretty easily, or the area that they held for that evening, and then left early in the morning afraid that they might get cut off. And they were right. The third scenario in this series is going to be them fighting through the militia to make it way back to their vessels in Newport News. The second scenario is going to be later the very same night, though, when Arnold sends members of the Queen's Rangers and Ewald Jaegers to investigate militia in Newport News that are responding to their English presence there in the harbor. So that'll be our next adventure, our next scenario of this campaign. So I hope you've enjoyed the campaign so far. If you have any questions or comments, if you enjoy playing Redcoats and Tomahawks yourself, or if you have other suggestions you'd like to make, we'll look for those in the comment section down before, including other comments you may have for other content you'd like to see us produce here on Cry Havoc Wargaming. If you've enjoyed the video, I hope that you'll hit like, and if you'd like to continue to receive notifications for videos like this one that may help you better determine how to spend your tabletop wargaming money or time, then I hope you'll hit subscribe and ring our notification bell. Till next time, cheers.